maybe you want to make some areas on your map which only come into effect when certain things have happened in the playthrough. Maybe you want doors that only want to open when a generator's been switched on, or traps in areas that only get sprung if the player's found a key or a weapon. This can all be done pretty easily in Ultimate Doom Builder using some basic ACS scripting and the use of conditional statements. So to show you a couple of examples, I've built this basic map. It has a central switch, a couple of doors on each side with a color to indicate which door is which, and some other sectors here which I'm going to turn into monster closets. I'll also add a red key behind one of these doors and a rocket launcher behind the other. Now what I want this central button to do is act like a power diverter, where it gives power to a different colored circuit whenever the player presses it. The green door will only open when the green circuit is active, and vice versa for the orange circuit. So this is actually really easy to set up using ACS. We'll open up your script editor and add the usual include zcommon.acs on the starter line, and then let's build script 1. We don't need to pass anything into this script, so we can leave it as void. Before we build this script though, we're going to need a variable which we can pass some information into to track whether the green or orange circuit is active. So for this, I'll make an integer outside of the script called isGreen. You could also use a Boolean value which takes true or false, but I like working with numbers usually. If this integer is 1, then it means that the active circuit is green. If it's 0, the active circuit will be orange. So our first script will handle whether the green door is open, and we'll be able to duplicate this almost identically to a second script which will handle the orange door. This script needs to open a door, so let's add the function to handle that first, which is door_raise, which takes a tag, a speed, and a delay before closing. I'm making sector tag 1 the green door. We'll make it open at a speed of 24 and have a delay of 70, which is 2 seconds before it closes again. Now let's handle the circuit. We use a conditional if statement here, and the condition we add is our variable. If isGreen equals 1. Make sure to use the 2 equal signs, which stands for is equal to. So we need to cut and paste our door_raise function now to sit it inside those curly brackets. And this function is now complete. The door will open if our variable is equal to 1, and it'll do nothing if it's not. But let's make some text pop up on the screen to give the player some more clarity if the green circuit isn't active. We'll make an else statement, and in that statement we'll use the print function to display something on the screen. Inside the brackets we start with an S and a colon, which is telling the function that we're giving it a string, which is just text. Then we put our message in quotation marks. That's all we need. Now we can copy what we've done into the second script and just change a couple of things to make it work for the orange door. Change the if statement to if isGreen is equal to 0. Change the tag in your door and change the green to orange in the string. I forgot a couple of semicolons at the end of my print statements, so I'll add them now and hit Control S to compile the script to make sure I haven't missed anything. And it looks like I forgot to change the second script number to script 2, so we'll fix that up now. So we've handled the doors, but now we need to handle the button. And this one is really simple, so let's make a quick third script to deal with it. So if we think about what we want from the switch, all we need it to do is change the isGreen variable to 1 if it's a 0, and to 0 if it's a 1. This is super easy with another if or else statement like we just used. And we'll use a single equal sign inside these curly brackets to assign that variable a new number. To make it more user-friendly, we'll also add some text to each of the conditions, telling the player which color the circuit has changed to. And that's it for the scripts for now. So let's set up the actions on the doors and the switch. So choose the 2 line defs for the first door and set up its action under the Properties tab. You can use the search bar to search for script and narrow it down to what we're after, and what we want is action 80, script execute. We'll pick that and choose script 1, which is the green circuit door. We want it to activate when the player presses use on it, and we want it to be repeatable, so tick those boxes, then hit OK. We'll do the same on the second door. I'll just shortcut it by typing 80 for the action and choose script 2 for this one. And same with the switch, we want it to run script 3. Okay, let's add a player start and give it a test. There you go. We have a central switch and we can now swap the circuit around anytime we like. The good thing about these scripts is we can reuse them all through the map and they'll work. We could set up other generator switches in other rooms and use script 3, and it'll keep track of the circuit just the same as the first switch. Let's add a little bit of quality of life to our setup now, because the player might forget which switch is active. So let's give our coloured wall sectors a tag each and have them brighten up or dim down depending on which circuit is active. Open up the script editor. We can make this edit right in script 3 just by adding the light underscore raise by value and lower by value functions in each of the conditions. When the circuit is switched to orange, I'll lower the light by 128 in the orange coloured sector and raise it by 128 in the green, and vice versa for the green circuit. One other thing I'll have to do is lower the light for the non-active sector by 128 in the map, like so, and then we'll give it a test. And there we go. We could reuse these coloured sectors and script ideas all through the map and make a whole bunch of doors or platforms or raised bridges or whatever else that only work when the right circuit is active using this same concept. So let's have a quick look at one other thing you can do with the simple if statement. Let's say you wanted to throw the player off by having a trap spring for them, but not until they've picked up a certain item. We have a rocket launcher and a red card in the map. I want some monster closets to open up when the player presses the generator switch, but not until they have one of these objects. So we can modify script 3 once again to bake the logic right into that switch. After our first if-else statement, we'll add another one, but I'm actually going to put a function called check inventory as the condition. What this function does is it takes a class name of an item and checks if the player has it in their inventory. If they do, it'll return a true statement back. If not, it'll return a false. If the if statement's condition is true, it'll run whatever's inside its curly brackets. Otherwise, it will ignore what's inside. So I've made two if statements now to check for the red card and the rocket launcher, and for each of them I'll add a door underscore open function to open up one of the two monster closets I've made. I'll hit Control S again to compile the script and make sure there's no errors. And as a side note, you can quickly check the class name of a thing by right-clicking on it in Ultimate Doom Builder, checking out its details in the bottom left of the pop-up. So let's run this and see if it works. So we hit the switch to start off and no monster closet opens. Now we grab a rocket launcher and come back to hit the switch. And cacodemons spill out. Next we grab the red key and come back and hit the switch, and the second monster closet open up. So there you have the makings of an interesting puzzle map. Go forth and script.